Hello class, my name is Mr. Aegis and I'm a health teacher. Today we're going to talk about overstimulation and how it's killing your brain. Comprehensive overstimulation is the constant stream of sensory input that we swim in every day. We're awash in visual and audio stimulation nearly every waking minute. And it's getting more and more efficiently delivered to our brains all the time, in increasing intensity. The sounds and sights are louder, brighter, faster, and they're coming from multiple sources at once. We know about screen time. We average 7 hours a day looking at screens. But we also see thousands of ads a day. We hear hundreds of songs and jingles to get stuck in the back of our head. And all at an average of 70 decibels, incidentally the volume at which damage to your ears begins, and in conjunction with multiple other activities at once. It's become a joke, a meme, how we can't eat without watching videos. Or we watch fast-paced videos in one screen while watching a different video in another. Or browse a screen in the congestion and noise of traffic. We're bombarded by ads, signs, desperate to grab our attention from amidst the sea of other inputs vying for our attention. We need background noise of the TV on, searching for good shows to have on in the background. 60% of high school and college students watch videos while they do schoolwork. And this is a major component, our so-called multitasking. Let me be perhaps the first to tell you that you suck at multitasking. Because most of us do, in almost every context. Studies are consistent that multitasking in most areas isn't just ineffective, it's actively bad for you. It's more than just work. It's our constant consumption of multiple forms of media at once, constantly switching our attention from one to the other in rapid succession, never actually paying either full focus. It just reinforces our growing need to satisfy our brains with more and more sources at once. There's considerable cognitive load that our finite attention just can't manage, overwhelming our resources and even our brain's metabolic needs. When we're constantly focused on many activities at once, we're never actually focused. The effects have similar symptoms to addiction. We experience changes in our ability to produce and utilize dopamine, and even physical changes in the brain. We become impatient as our need for instant gratification, which is never actually very gratifying, isn't met, and the reward center of our brains is affected. So what's it doing to us? You see here in someone who has this similar condition of internet addiction that there are physical changes to the thickness of certain brain areas. Fatigue, of course, more difficulty stimulating dopamine, more difficulty falling asleep and staying asleep, naturally, higher stress hormone levels, increased blood pressure, heart rate, shallower and more rapid breathing. There's even evidence that these dopamine effects may contribute to an increased risk for Parkinson's disease. Psychologically, it leads to less attention, higher anxiety, less tolerance for new stressors, impatience and short temper, decreased social competence, repetitive and ritual behaviors. And it gives us confusion about how things work in the real world outside of these sensory illusions. Memory issues in particular, poor retention on everything we multitask on, less grasp of any material we cover, poor mastery of the skills we work on, and slower progression in learning than if we'd done these activities separately. Simply put, multitasking makes you learn and accomplish slower and worse than if you'd done the tasks separately. You retain less and you gain skill slower. So what is to be done? Well, of course, we can advocate for things to change in society, for more education like this to be given to young people so they can make healthier choices. We can educate the working world on how these demands for multiple attention focuses is harmful and makes work less productive and less efficient. We can ban billboards. Please, let's ban billboards. But what can we do as individuals? A few things, some of which you've probably heard before, like digital detox. Now this is brought up often as little more than a platitude or a wellness influencer buzzword or AI-generated article on a vlog called like Mindful Mommy Yoga Karen or whatever. But the fundamental idea is valid. You take a break, a one-time break, and a scheduled periodic break throughout the day or throughout the week, where you separate yourself from these sources in a planned and deliberate manner. And of course, I don't need to reiterate the importance of getting some daily physical activity, even if just a morning and evening stretch. But particularly if you can get this during time outdoors, in nature. Just some time being spent outside or indoors tending to plants. Greenery is well studied in being helpful in this area. And develop a hobby, something outside of a screen and outside of the artificial brain stimulation all around you. You don't have to pick up drawing to become an artist. The moment you put pencil to paper, you are. You can just do it for your own enrichment. Reading, picking up a cheap used keyboard and hitting some notes, doing puzzles, board games, whittle, Learn to tie knots, learn to juggle, anything at all. Start crocheting. And social connections, online or off, but make them genuine. Quality over quantity. When you're talking to someone, just talk to them. Give them your full attention. Pay attention to their interests. Encourage their hobbies. And mindfulness, you've heard this. Even corporate speak talks about this. But take it seriously. Make an effort to be more mindful about the moments in your day. Try a mindful eating activity. But the big one I want to convey that ties into all of these is intentional activities. That is, single tasking. Doing one thing, doing it well. And I don't mean doing it expertly, I mean giving it your full, complete, undivided attention. Get the full enjoyment and enrichment from it that it can provide. Make it a purposeful activity. Do at least one activity in your day where you do nothing but that activity. Plan for it. Set aside the time. Make it your priority. Draw that thing. Work your crochet project a little further. Write a few paragraphs of that story you've been putting off. But do that thing and that thing alone. And in all of this, be patient with yourself. The hyperstimulation of the modern world is designed to keep you wanting it all the time. Claw some of it back. It's your time, and it's your mind. And it's powerful, and you have the power to use it to improve yourself. Self-care is more than just retail therapy and a hot bath. It's about conscious efforts to take better care of your well-being. I hope you'll find this and other short lessons useful. Health education should be skills-based, not so much about how many facts you can remember, but how many beneficial skills you can apply to improve your quality of life. Self-care is not a privilege you earn, but it's a right that you possess. During Self-Care December, take the time you deserve to care about yourself as much as you do about your loved ones. And with that, be good, do good, and class dismissed.